I think Lauren will be here in just a moment. So do you want to just do a quick check and make sure that you can share your screen right now from your position, if that's something you're going to do?
Hey, Bryony, yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
Do you want me to start my video?
I just kind of wanted to confirm that you have the share screen option at the bottom.
All right.
Yeah, I can share my screen. Hi, by the way.
Okay, awesome. Hi. All right, Lauren, take it away.
I think I can share my screen.
Cool. Perfect. Thank you guys for joining early and for being willing to demo. We're moving. We used to just have like more of an open Zoom call, but we're moving to like more webinar style just to prevent any like spam from dropping in. So that's why we have like more closed permissions, and you won't be able to see the audience. You'll be able to see the 3Box Labs team. A bunch of our team members will be on video because they're going to be presenting after you. So I'll just kind of like kick off and welcome everyone. We're going to let some of the new folks on our team just do brief intros. So it should only be a couple minutes, and then we'll pass it to you guys. I think I have Ben, you're going first. And you know, I think each of the demos, you can let me know if you think you need more. I'm expecting like 5 to 10 minutes. Doesn't need to be anything super long. We can pause at the end for questions. We'll have the chat is open, so people might be dropping comments and questions there. And then we also have a Q&A box that will be sent to the panelists. And I know Bryony is going to be monitoring. I'll be looking at that. So we can also, anything that we see that comes up as you're demoing, we can share to you guys. But if you want to stay on after your demos, we're going to be doing a bunch of sessions from our team talking about some of the like updates that came out in V2. We're going to be talking about our current design approach to indexing and the new version of data models, which we're working on right now. And then also some updates on some of the work we're doing to scale the ceramic anchoring service. So if any of that's of interest, feel free to hang around. But once you're kind of done demoing, you're free to go off video and just kind of hang out. But really appreciate you guys joining. And we'll also going to be recording this. So after we'll clean it up and we'll put it into a blog post and put it on like our YouTube channel and on our blog. So you also have it if it's something you ever want to like share out with anyone.
Cool. That sounds good. So what's the expected scope? Is it like in my context, the app, we use Ceramic for a specific feature. Should I just run through what our product is as well and see how we use Ceramic in that product?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Like kind of just a quick overview of like, what are you building? What's kind of like the use case that you're going after, the problem you're solving, how you're using Ceramic. And then if you want to do like a demo, if you have like a product facing demo you want to show, or if there's another kind of tutorial you want to pull up, totally up to you. So we've had some people just like pull up architecture diagrams, or, you know, depending on kind of where you guys are at, it's your call. But yeah, everyone on the line will be mostly people in the ceramic community, but of like varying stages of expertise and development. So they'll kind of like jump in with questions throughout.
All right, sounds good. And camera off, on. I'm not even sure I have the option.
I think that is great when you're presenting, at least.
Well, I want to, so that's the thing. I wanted to, show my big smile and stuff like that, but it seems not permitted by the host.
Okay, maybe Bryony, that is a good call out. Can we just make sure that everyone in here and all the 3Box Labs, everyone who's a panelist is able to share video? Let me see if I'm not right.
Yes, let me see.
Are the other panelists that are on, like Steph, Val, Michael, Danny, are you guys able to turn your video on?
Oh, cool. I got it now. Cool.
Got it.
I'm not able to.
Yeah, same here. I'll turn on camera.
Awesome.
Is there a limit on co-hosts, Bryony, do you think? Or?
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, because I have changed them to co-hosts, so then we can get video there.
Okay, cool. If it's helpful, Bryony, before we open up the line, I can tell you who like we would need in what order, like on our team.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of the new folks. I'll message you quickly, like the list of the 5 people who are going to be speaking in the beginning. And then if we need to, we can remove the posts, add in people later on the team that are speaking.
Right, okay.
Okay, cool. I'll message that to you now. And then... am I missing anyone else who's joined since last call? I guess Artur. All right, cool. Do we want to start the webinar and let some folks in? Is that cool? All right, I'm going to start. I think you all get muted for a second and then we'll get back in. Or maybe not. Cool. Everyone, I know we're 2 minutes in, just going to give it one more minute. I know a bunch of people are joining as we speak. Hey, John, I'm glad you're able to make it. All right, 3 minutes past. Let's kick it off. Hey, everyone, and welcome for the May Ceramic Community Call. For those that I haven't met yet, I'm Lauren, focusing on partnerships and BD here at 3 Box Labs, the core team working on ceramic. Really excited today. We have a bunch of content and a pretty long agenda. I'll post it into the chat in a minute. But a lot of exciting updates, both from our team, from exciting community projects that are building with ceramic. And before we do any of that, I'd love to start with some quick intros. We've hired, I think we had 6 people start last week. So we've been growing our team pretty rapidly and want to give all the new folks just a chance to do a super brief introduction, maybe just who you are, your location, what you're working on, what you're excited about at 3 Box. I will pass it. Let me see who, maybe Avi, I think you were at the last community call and you did an intro.
I don't think I did an intro, but yeah, I'm Avi, joining the product team here and super excited. I've been personally invested and involved in the Web3 space, but officially joined about a month ago and really excited to see a lot of the stuff that you guys are working on.
Awesome. And I don't know, Artur, Justina, Alex, if you guys are here and want to give, and Kate as well, a brief intro. I don't know if you're not able to. I'm giving you all permission right now to be able to talk. So maybe Justina, if you want to go ahead first.
Yeah. So hi everyone. I'm Justina. I joined the team just a few weeks ago, and I am a developer success lead at the 3 Box Labs. I'm very excited to be part of the team, and I will be focusing on improving the experience that developers have when building on top of ceramic, also making ceramic more known in general in the Web3 space. And hopefully we will get more developers building on ceramic. And yeah, I will be focusing as well on improving the education that we have around ceramic and just building developer community overall. So super excited to meet everyone and see you all in the future as well.
Cool. Kate or Artur?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Kate. I'll be leading product marketing here with the team. I also started 2 weeks ago. Really excited to dive in and get to know you all better and learn more about the exciting projects that are being built with Ceramic.
Hello, everyone. My name is Artur, software engineer based in London. Joined the App Squad on the 25th with the other 5 noobs. And yeah, looking forward to improving Ceramic as a tool for everybody.
Hi, I'm Alex Wilhelm. I also just started 2 weeks ago as the lead protocol engineer here at 3Box. Going to concentrate on improving the JS Ceramic repository and hopefully facilitating a better experience for all our developers. And I'm located in the Bay Area.
Awesome. Thanks for all the intros, and everyone on the line, feel free to reach out in the Discord if you want to chat further with any of the new folks. We're always, our DMs are always open. We're always willing to chat with community members. Cool. To kick off, I think we're going to start with some project demos first. So I'll pass it to Ben from Bullet Network for a quick demo, and then we have one other project demo from a community project, and then we'll use kind of the second half of the call to share out some updates from 3Box Labs, some of the work that we're doing around indexing, around scaling the Ceramic anchoring service, around kind of the new approach to data models. And also some updates about the release of Ceramic V2 and what that included. So definitely stick around if you're interested in that, but for now I'll pass it to Ben for a quick demo.
Awesome. Thanks, Lauren. So hello, everyone. My name is Ben. I'm a developer at Bullet Network. I guess I'll just share my screen. I have our little homepage here. Cool. Awesome. So yeah, I'm a developer at Bullet Network. What is Bullet Network? Essentially, our goal was to grow the adoption of Web3 into blockchain. And we figured the first thing we should do is to facilitate commerce, essentially. So, blockchain itself is you can call it a cash business where you can send value to people, and that's great. But a lot of commerce is built on credit. Like, for instance, you do some product or service, you invoice a customer, you tell them, hey, you owe me money. That is a thing, an invoice. You can use that invoice to, get loans from the bank and stuff like that. And so in our case, what we really want to do is to have these tools in place in Web3 and use the Web3 technologies to achieve that. And so in the real world, what we have is a platform where we can do invoicing, we can do payroll, you can send documented payments. So instead of just random transfers to people, you can have a more like documented transaction to the description. So come tax season, you're not totally unaware of what you did last week. And we also have a very good integration of Gnosis Safe. So for DAOs, super important to see like where the money's going, have that all that documented. So it's essentially kind of a DAO operating system if you wanted to think about it that way. So without further ado, I'll jump into the app, and obviously I'll explain why we use Ceramic in our app. And so, if I just connect my wallet, we support, some basic wallets here. And what you'll see is a dashboard of a bunch of stuff. So with credit comes the idea of account receivables and account payables. This is also called a trial balance. So essentially, when you have invoices coming in and out, so you're a business, you work for other businesses, you invoice them, they owe you money. And some other businesses, maybe you owe them money because they offered a product or service. That generates what we call an account receivable and account payable, which means some people owe you money, some people you owe them money. And so that's what a total payable, receivable, and the bullet balance is. It just shows you what your future balances are. So that's kind of the dashboard. And then you can create an invoice, you can create payments, and then you can do batch invoices and batch payments. So, we're on Web3, transactions have gas. It'd be nice to optimize that gas cost for your operations. And so we offer batch invoices. I'm not going to go here and do it because it's kind of out of the scope of the demo, but we have customers that did some sales, and they invoiced everyone like with our service, and they really enjoyed the process of being able to invoice with the ERC20s with native tokens and stuff like that. Anyways, so that's a bit what we do, but obviously we're at Ceramic here. I want to talk to you guys about, or I want to talk to everyone about why we use Ceramic. So we have a feature that's called contacts, and super self-explanatory. You have this random Ethereum address, and you would prefer to handle or not to handle, but you'd prefer to have transactions that you can read, human readable from and to transactions, right? And so, well, an easy way to solve this is just to remember who you're interacting with, what their Ethereum address was, and be able to have a human readable ledger, essentially, a immutable ledger. And so that's what we did. So we have contacts, and you can't see it right now, but this is actually built on Ceramic. So all our data is on Ceramic. We use self-ID and thread-ID. So if I just run through, maybe I can off screen, I can clear my cookies and see like a new experience, what that would look like. Just give me one quick second. All right, gonna refresh my page, and obviously clear my cookies. Good, or local storage, whatever. And now you see all my operations have no contacts, right? I don't have any contacts, just because when we log in, we don't want to like burden people with having to connect to Ceramic. So instead, what will happen, and says, hey, you want to use self-ID to have contacts? We'll store them on Ceramic. You just have to connect. And normally it's smart enough that if you already connected to the app, you don't have to go through the Ethereum connect process. So that's cool. Now I have my contacts. Great. I go back to my ledger. I have everything. And so everything is stored per wallet. And it's encrypted with like JSON web encryption. This is not like super fault proof, because you could just make another app and connect to the same stream, connect to the same wallet, and they'll have access to the contacts. Which is also a kind of good thing if you think about it, because if you want another app and you want to reuse your contacts for that app, then you can do that. But like it's not like super sensitive information that it would like, oh my God, like the name I associated to, oh my God, I'm just going to, leak super private information. So it's not so we're very comfortable in using Ceramic, because it offers pros and cons of, I mean, I can go into the implementation details of what it's, why we chose Ceramic. We actually have a good thread on Twitter. If you want to go on Twitter, Bullet Network, we actually wrote a thread about it. All the decision making that went into choosing Ceramic for our DARE assistance. So the too long didn't read is we wanted to kind of be decentralized in the sense that we didn't want to have a backend server and stuff like that, which you can argue, nodes are backends. So I'm not going to like drill too far into the argument, but we didn't want to store on chain because that requires a contract interaction. And just to store contacts is kind of like, you could do that, but why would do that? Oh, sorry, my debug. All right. Net indexing is using IPFS. Well, IPFS is great, it's immutable, but we have to update the contacts continuously. So, how do you manage the hash, the IPFS hash? And that's where like Ceramic shines, where although everything's backed by IPFS, you can still mutate stuff, and that's a good balance we have. And yeah, that's essentially our product. Why we use Ceramic, why we're happy with it, and yeah. So, any questions? Sounds good.
And this is, I just want to say, super awesome. I'm just curious, kind of like, what's the evolution been in terms of like what's your roadmap coming up? How have you, like, what's it taken to get to this point? Just kind of curious.
Oh, that's a good question. So we've been in development for about, I'd say a year and almost a half, like a year and a quarter. The first thing was just an MVP of, can we like do a protocol? And now that you asked me this question, I could probably elaborate on a few small details. So we're not only a DApp, right? So dApps are cool, but we're actually a protocol. So anyone with like NPM could integrate and create invoices and payments and generate dashboards for the protocol. So essentially, we're this big like source of truth for claims we call like invoices and payments and stuff. So all the operations, we all share this big accounting book, and the only difference is when you open up the app, you only see what's relevant to you, and you can generate reports that are relevant to you. So you can import that, export that as a CSV. So that we recently added. And so what we've done until this point, so like I said, we started just simple making invoices and stuff like that with this front end. And then in November, we started integrating with Ceramic, November, December. December was, Gnosis Safe integration, which is like this huge thing, by the way. Like DAOs can very easily operate with this and just eliminate a lot of pain. And then doing the batch experience. So we have customers right now doing their payroll with our experience. So you can go through and, say like this is, April 22 payroll. I'm not going to go into it, but like, you can come here, then you can import a CSV to have all your recipients. You can import from a previous batch of like all the previous payrolls you've did. Well, they say, okay, I want to do this one. And anyways, and then you can like write, obviously it's not like correct data, but you can do your payroll super easily. And now what our future roadmap with Let's Looking at is we want to do a better mobile experience. We want to offer a better multi-chain dashboard. And obviously like we would like to partner with people so they can build their apps with our protocol and maybe integrations like that. But we're looking to grow the network right now. And obviously we have features, but like our core product offering is here. And now we're just looking to invite people to onboard, use it, get some feedback, get the product better and stuff like that. And eventually, have a token where, the fees will generate to the token and stuff like that. But that's going to come in time. Good question.
Yeah,
by the way.
Even for us, this is super relevant. We have like our team multi-sig that we send out a bunch of like payments and invoices when we do partnerships or different bounties for hackathons. And then we just have like a Google sheet where we're kind of tracking all of like the metadata because there's not a native way with Gnosis Safe to actually catalog what those transactions are for. So it gets super complicated for us to just remember like, what was this on this, like, this transaction hash, but who did it go to? What was it for? So being able to like integrate and have something like this, I can see that being really helpful for a lot of just like core teams also in the space and projects.
Yeah, that's definitely the problem we're trying to solve. And everything's in production. So if we can chat afterwards if that's going to help you out.
Yeah, sounds good. Cool. Any other questions for anyone in the community? And also, I know not everyone has the ability to like talk or turn on video, so don't forget you can post questions or comments in the chat or in the Q&A, or raise your hand if you want to chat and we can bring you up to the floor. So if that's it, thank you so much, Ben, for coming and presenting. This looks really awesome, super cool use case for Ceramic. So thanks for taking time to present.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
Stop sharing. Boom.
Cool. Next up, Kaushik, do you want to take the floor?
Okay, let me share my screen. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep, we can see it.
Cool. Hi everyone, this is Kaushik from Sapient. So we actually built an application called as a Sapient Wallet. So one of the applications that we have planned on building on our protocol, and this is something that we demoed at ETH Denver 2022, and that's something that we will showcase today. So Sapient Wallet is a non-custodial claimable wallet. That means so basically, most of the wallets that's available are not so claimable by anyone else other than the user itself. So we created a wallet that should be easily be claimable by the beneficiary without any sort of trusted institution or custody involved. So before diving into the demo, I just want to quickly talk about the state of wallets that is in the existing infrastructure, existing ecosystem of the crypto. So if you look into the ecosystem, we already know that there are plenty of wallets available, ranging from desktop wallets, mobile wallets, to the secure end of the the spectrum of wallets, where we can see hardware wallet, multi-sig, and social decoy, and all sort of things. So when we look into these wallets, one thing is evident that mostly it's classified based on either the convenience or the security. Most of them definitely, if they want to use a lot of applications, decentralized application day in and day out, they would prefer convenience, and they would store a small amount of tokens or currencies, and they interact on a regular basis. someone who wants to manage it for a really long time, they would prefer the security and they would go for something like hardware wallet or multi-sig wallet or something like that. But one thing for sure is that there is, I think, for a longer durability of holding of crypto assets or in this ecosystem itself. So we might need something that is in the right balance of convenience and security. I would say most of the people who wants to onboard, they would want definitely a convenience, but at the same time, after some period of time, they would say, give me some more security on whatever application that I'm using or whatever wallet I'm using right now. So probably most of them would end up using mobile wallet or desktop wallet, and it's very difficult for them to move to a different wallet, either because they are too much they're used to the convenience, or there is a huge amount of money at stake. They don't want to move around, and they feel unsafe doing that. So I recently written a tweet on this, talking about the different states of wallet. I can probably go through it. So ranging from the convenience to the one that is hard to use, but it provides a lot of security. So our goal was to, at Sapient Wallet, was to create some kind of crypto wallet which brings the right balance of convenience and security. So we wanted to achieve this where so we know that a lot of crypto wallets right now are planning to do the best onboarding experience for the user as possible. Something like Social Recovery, it does give a best security at the same good amount of security. At the same time, they are helping the user to give the best onboarding experience. What at Sapient Wallet, we wanted to achieve the right balance of convenience and security, not just with the onboarding, but also the offboarding part. That is something that a lot of people don't really bother about, because a lot of people, they at the very beginning, they come to explore this ecosystem, and they definitely will stay for a really long time, but they don't think at the very beginning how to offboard it. How do I withdraw a large amount of sum to somewhere else? Or how do I pass my assets to someone else? If something happens to myself or something happens to my device, how do they recover it? So that is something that we call it as an offboarding event. So we wanted to achieve both the onboarding and offboarding. At the same time, we bring that right balance of convenience security. So what we created at Sapient Wallet is a claimable wallet. So a wallet that will be, the user will create a wallet, and they don't even have to back up their secret information like seed phrase, mnemonic, or key store. And they can create some kind of a recovery plan. And at the same time, they can add a beneficiary who will get access to it at the right time. So there will be claimable events, and based on the claimable events, the beneficiary will get access to their Sapient wallets. So this we achieved through something that we have been working on for some time. So we have been working on Sapient protocol for close to 10-11 months right now. The main goal of, the reason why we created Sapient Network is that we wanted to achieve the crypto asset inheritance, and crypto asset inheritance is only possible. Most of the places people do ad hoc or crude method of writing it in a piece of paper, creating a will, putting it in a safe box so that they can inherit and pass down that information or secret information to their beneficiary. So we wanted to do this in a non-custodial approach where we don't involve any kind of a deposit or banks or any custody. We wanted to also do this in a digital way, because we believe that we have been in a digital era, and we want to provide this digital non-custodial way of solution to pass down the crypto assets to their beneficiary. So that is why we created our Sapient Network, Sapient Protocol, which is a non-custodial secret recovery and inheritance protocol, where a secret can be passed on to the other entity without any kind of custody involved, but at the right time. So the beneficiary will get access to it at the right time based on several events that our protocol supports. So as you can see in our protocol, there will be definitely the creator, or specifically to the Sapient wallet, there will be wallet creator, wallet beneficiary, and we have trustless guardians. So trustless guardian is a network guardians who will help this beneficiary get access to any secret information or the safe information at the right time based on whatever the event happens. And we do also have certain application that integrated, such as Kleros for arbitration. If the user desires, the creator desires that the safe information should be passed on to the beneficiary only after the arbitration has been settled in some external application. So so we use combination of both off-chain, on-chain mechanism. We use on-chain incentivization mechanism, event trigger mechanism, and at the same time we focus a lot on storage of safe information for a really long time, because durability is something very important for managing these kind of assets, managing crypto wallets for a really long time. And that is why we use solutions like Filecoin, Textile, ThreadDB, and Ceramic as well. Okay, so let me just take you through the local demo. Let me just run a couple of notes. So we have different authentication methodologies. We can, why are we connecting MetaMask is because, one thing is obviously we can use any of the authentication methodology. We can use username, password as well, email or, social login methods as well. But there is some incentivization that we have to provide for the protocol. And if the user desires to pay that upfront, they can use their existing wallets or any kind of, methods that that is used to incentivize this network. They can pay it upfront, and also we use that as an authentication methodology. For example, something like to create a the DIDs in our platform, we use currently MetaMask or any kind of authentication method that we have. So let me just create a wallet. So this is a rig, a user rig, and let me just create one wallet. And I just have to add the beneficiary. So currently we have a user called Morty in our network. So he's either we can add the DID or even we can add the emails. Currently we provide these two, and also Ethereum address is something that we support. So we have different. Sorry, this has to be a claim method. So we have different kinds of claim methods available right now. So there is something called signaling, D-Day, and arbitration. So signaling is a method where once the wallet is created, so beneficiary can create a claim for that wallet because they'll get a notification that a wallet has been created for you, but they don't have access to it. So, but they can create a claim, and immediately after the claim has been created, so there will be some kind of a signaling period. Let's say there's a 60 days of signaling period. So the creator has to respond within 60 days, otherwise the beneficiary will get access. This is one of the simplest event that they will get access to it. D-Day is one of the other simplest way where they will get access to it at the exact time and date. And these are all on-chain triggered events, but the verification will be done by our incentivized network of guardians. And arbitration, again, it will go through some kind of external code like Kleros, where the decentralized arbitrators will decide whether they should get access to it or not. So they'll have to prove a certain event, or through some kind of with some kind of proof they'll have they'll have to prove that event. So let me just select a signaling event, and let's just give 30 seconds as a signaling period, and we just have to create it. So it takes some time to create this wallet, because it is also applying all this encryption algorithm. It's a combination of symmetric and asymmetric, because we transfer this information with the help of asymmetric cryptography. At the same time, for longer durability, we transfer these keys with the help of symmetric. I mean, we encrypt the data with the help of symmetric encryptions. And what we are also interacting with the contract to create this on-chain event. At the same time, we can also pay some kind of fee for the the protocol incentivization. And these are all some of the things are optional, because let's say the user doesn't want to do any kind of on-chain event right now, they can postpone it for the later stage as well. Or in the future, we are planning to do some kind of on-chain events with the Guardian bot itself, so that the user doesn't have to do any kind of on-chain event. Rather, they will just provide the proof to the Guardians, and Guardian will submit on users' behalf. So this is simple wallet that we have right now. And yeah, so there's some advanced settings, and they can interact with any kind of chain. It's a simple web wallet. And in future, we are planning to create a add-on, as well as working on a mobile application as well. So let me just log into a different account, Morty. So the Morty as you can see, he has a wallet created here, a ceramic wallet. All these wallets which was previously created were assigned to him. None of them were created by him, so it looks like it's locked. And even this will be locked. And what he can do is he can just create a claim. And yeah, once the claim is created, as you can see, this is a simple claim where there will be just a timer, and the timer will start. And before this timer runs out, since this is a test, it's only 30 seconds, but the rig will get certain notification in email as well as in-app notification. They can go and check this claim and actually cancel this claim. So yeah, so once they cancel, they will not be, it's basically vetoing that particular claim, and the beneficiary won't get access to it. It's like the timer has run out. So once the timer has run out, we can actually see the Guardian here. Yeah, so as you can see, the recovery has started. One of the safes, I mean, in our protocol, we call that as a safe. One of the Guardian has started the recovery.
And I'm just being mindful of time here. This is super interesting and very cool to see it in action. As you're kind of going through this last flow, just curious, where are you guys at in terms of like in the market? Are you like live with certain users, or if not, kind of what's the timeline of the plan to launch?
Yeah, so basically our entire application, entire protocol is Sapient protocol. So we believe that there are a lot of applications that could be built on top of it. And our first goal was to, give out the, the APIs for users to interact with our application. But we started building our own application on top of it. One of them is Sapient Wallet. But what drove us to create this entire protocol was the crypto asset inheritance part, which is we are working on one application called as Sapient Safes, where it's basically a generic safe box where they can add any kind of instructions, any kind of asset information, portfolio information, as well as the crypto asset. If they really want to transfer their seed phrases to the users, that we provide these kind of templates, and it works similarly what the wallet does, because when we create a wallet, what is happening is that we have a seed phrase that is created, and the seed phrase never leaves the this desktop application or the browser, and it basically we transfer it to the protocol. Same goes for the Sapient box as well. The box is never stored anywhere, so we basically Sapient safe, and we put it in the network where it will be sharded, and multiple guardians will be protecting it. So our main application that we want to put into the production is the Sapient Safes, where we provide the inheritance recovery of the safe, existing wallets. I mean, existing whatever the Sapient assets they own. At the same time, our goal of the protocol is the integration with the existing wallet. So the reason we built Sapient Wallet is to show that the existing wallet can integrate with our platform. So we have been testing with the MetaMask Sandbox, the mobile application like Rainbow Wallet and everything, because most of this wallet, what they provide is that immediately after the wallet has been created, they give an option to back up in the Google Drive in an encrypted form. So what we want to do is that we want to integrate and test out with the Sapient protocol. Instead of storing it at one place where the recovery, they don't even provide the recovery solution, we want to add the recovery as well as the inheritance solution right when they start creating this crypto wallet. So we by no means we want to compete with this any kind of wallet, but this is just a demonstration we wanted to show to the users. Okay, even with the web wallet or even with the mobile wallet, we can integrate with this protocol. Yeah, so the integration with the existing wallet is something that we are really looking for. This is basically for the demo purpose.
Awesome. Before you wrap, I know just feel like you have a hand raised if you want.
I have a real quick question. So are you familiar with Lit protocol?
Yes.
How would you say you compare, if I was to create a token, or not token gated, but a condition that something isn't to be released until it reaches until the chain reaches a certain block height? I can use that to protect encrypted data on using Lit protocol. How do you compare? I mean, where do you store the secrets and whatnot? Can someone get to the encrypted, to the ciphertext?
Yeah. It's a good question because LIT protocol is something that is very close to, in terms of the implementation at least, is very close to what they're doing. I mean, what we are doing, but they are more generic in terms of their implementation. Because one of the reasons why we created is basically just for the secret information. So we are only focused about creating safes and this transfer of this safe. Whereas LIT protocol is basically a gateway to, it's basically an authentication or authorization for any decentralized data or any services as well. Basically they have Google Drive and access to any kind of meetings. So it's or token token based authentications to access certain information and all those things. They are a generic platform. But when we started working on, definitely LIT protocol was something that was not there for us to test it out. Otherwise we would have tested integrating with their platform. But we started working on our own protocol where we wanted to make sure one thing. So the basic goal of Sapient is to make this access of information, secret information, safe and convenient. So the convenience is something that we wanted to stress out, where let's say beneficiary doesn't have to have access, interact with the contract. They don't have to worry about interacting with this protocol and everything. So we work with all this DID protocol and any kind of authentication mechanism, so that we can easily onboard them to our protocol as well. Or in later stage as well, we create a safe box, and based on the invitation, they can authenticate to our platform, such scenarios as well. But yeah, so to answer to your question, we are more focused on the two parts. One is that LIT protocol, where it's a generic condition-based access to any kind of data, where we are upgradable and flexibly we can add any kind of conditions to our platform, but it will be only accepted by our community. So basically currently we have around 4 conditions for inheritance and access of recovery of the secret information, and that will be flexible. We can add more and more modules, but which is limited at this point. And yeah, LIT protocol generally provides any kind of authorization methodology, and we are focused only on securing this information, I mean secret information, not with any other services. But yeah, LIT protocol is something that we couldn't. One of the things that we are very passionate is to make sure that it's purely trustless and non-custodial. They currently run their internal nodes, and we wanted to make this decent platform much more decentralized as possible. And we can have our own. We can provide as much as security as possible, because seed phrases, secret information, and wallets, these are all critical data, and we wanted to provide as much as security as possible end to end. Yeah, so currently, to answer your other question, the data that we are storing, the secret data, the data itself encrypted will be stored in the nodes, as well as we are currently it's also in the decentralized storage. But that it's openly available, but at the same time it's just an encrypted data blob, and it will be only accessible by the beneficiary. But we are focused more on hiding it as much as possible, because a lot of our metadata, even though encrypted metadata, which is available in IPFS and ThreatDB at this point, but we are focusing more on the security to most of the data which is critical enough to the node itself, so that not everyone has access to it. But anything that is verifiable, such as proofs and any encrypted data that doesn't really have the meaning, we are currently keeping it in the IPFS storage itself, or something like P2P database like ThreatDB.
Awesome. I will say that, Lawrence, I think we've got a couple more things on the docket. So Lauren, I'll hand it over to you in terms of just making sure we get done everything today.
Yeah, cool. Ashik, I know we didn't get through maybe every single step of it, but that was really thorough, and it was good to see the full flow. So thank you also for making time and coming to demo. If you guys have any further questions for the Sapient team, feel free to drop it in the chat or the Q&A. We can answer it there async as we move forward. So last 20 minutes, we'll try to cover. Yeah, absolutely. We'll try to cover as much as we can, and whatever we don't get to, we'll roast next time. First up, I want to pass it to Val, who's been hard at work on the Ceramic V2 release that we just finally rolled out a couple weeks ago. So I'll pass it to you to kind of share a little bit more on that.
Yeah, sure. So in interest of time, I'll try to be pretty quick. and really just pointing out pretty much the docs, so like where you can find out information about V2. But then we'll open up for any specific questions that people have, maybe take a couple of those. So yeah, so V2, there was a lot that went into it. One of the major pieces was moving away from JS IPFS and moving to Go IPFS. For those of you who've been on some of these calls, you probably heard us talk about this for quite a while, but basically JS IPFS provided some specific properties that we need for Ceramic in terms of how we create and store data and the formats for that. And that was adopted in Go IPFS recently, so we were able to make that switch. Go IPFS it has just seen better performance. It has more people working on it. So overall, the implementation is just more reliable. So that's one of the reasons that we wanted to move to Go IPFS. Another was being able to make Ceramic in general even more decentralized. And JS, the JS version had some bottlenecks in there that kind of constrained what we were able to do. But now by using Go IPFS, when you run Ceramic, you can basically connect to any Ceramic node automatically. You don't have to register your peer in order to do that. So the starting point is if you have not yet run a node and you want to get started with it, go to our documentation, developers.ceramic.network. There's a tab up here called Run Nodes. And in here on the left, you'll see a couple options for running a node. So the first is running in development. So this is just like if you want to get started testing, this is what you would consider to be just developing locally on your computer or even developing like on staging, for example, just to get a sense of how Ceramic works and how your app can interact with the Ceramic node. So this is pretty straightforward. Won't dive in too deeply here. But another thing that I'll call out is the running in production side. So once you have gotten a sense of what your app is going to do, you want to get onto the Ceramic mainnet, then you'll be using this running in production guide. And what we suggest here is you start on our Clay testnet first. So go through this entire guide, run your node on testnet, and then once you're confident that your setup has all the things that it needs, your app in staging is working correctly, then you can very easily switch over that same node to the mainnet network. So there's quite a few sections in here, but we basically revamped this page to specifically be geared to V2. So basically, if you're starting from scratch, you'll not be running a V1 node at all. You'll just be running with JS Ceramic V2. Yep, so that's this documentation here. One important thing here is that you can actually just use Ceramic now with a vanilla Go IPFS implementation. So before this, we kind of had our custom version of JS IPFS that we distributed. Now you can just go to the IPFS docs, install the Go version. I think they're still on 0.12, and it'll work right out of the box. And in addition, we have a Docker container that we publish. So if you want to use a containerized version, then that version has like everything kind of configured for you to make it compatible with Ceramic. So that's a very easy way to get started as well. So I'll briefly talk about some of the changes if you are currently running a node and it's a V1 node and how to basically get onto V2. So the first thing is if you are currently running a V1 node and you haven't followed this doc yet, there's a good chance that your node is not well connected to the entire network. So if you haven't yet done the upgrade to V2, you really do need to make sure that you make a very small change to your V1 node so that the V1 node can stay with the rest of the network. I will not go into this in detail, but just high level, Go IPFS doesn't yet support SSL on WebSockets. And so that means that a lot of the mainnet nodes that we had that were using a secure WebSocket cannot connect to the V2 nodes, and the V2 nodes can't connect back. And so, if that is the case for you, just again, like go through this document. It should be pretty clear what to do, but all you'll need to do is submit a PR to the existing peer list, which was for V1, and change out your multi-address there. to not use a secure WebSocket and make sure that you're, whatever you're using, if it's a load balancer or whatever port is configured there, a listener on that, for example, is not expecting it to be a secure connection. A call out here is that even though you won't be using a WebSocket that like listens for SSL, basically, you will still have a secure connection kind of under the hood. IPFS kind of handles that for you. It has protocols in place to make sure the traffic is encrypted. But yeah, that's just one change that you're going to need if you're still running that V1 node. And then moving on, if you are ready to do your upgrade, we have 2 docs here. I will show where to find these as well. But basically, we have 2 versions of the same doc. One is if you are currently running your V2 node with S3. So this kind of guides you through like how to take that, how to take that V1 node and then migrate it over to the V2, maintaining the same data that you have in your S3 bucket. And so we kind of outlined, all the steps to do this. We did it ourselves on our own infrastructure and then documented that. And so you can continue to use an S3 bucket for your data. And then again, we have a similar doc, which is if you were not using S3, if you were using a file system or volume, then same thing, slightly different, obviously, because your data is stored in a different place. But yeah, this outlines all the steps that are needed to do that. So yeah, with that, I can't see. Okay, yeah. Are there any questions? I'd be happy to take any questions that people have now regarding that.
Feel free to post in the chat or the Q&A. There was one question from Christian who just sent it to the panelists. So I don't know, Christian, if that was a question for other projects that are building, but Val, this also might be a good transition into Paul's answer. But Christian's question was for those who are building apps that serve up and display data from a ceramic stream or using a GraphQL API interface to request the data that gets displayed. I can repost that in the everyone chat. So if there's existing projects that want to share that, but it's also probably a good transition to Paul's.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good transition. Just the last thing I'll call out is the place to find this. So again, you can go to our docs to find, the updated docs for V2, but also you can go into our Discord. I'll just pull it up really quick. Not there, sorry. Should have done this beforehand. Okay. So in our Discord here, if you go to the running a node section, then go to pinned messages and it's pinned right here. So if you forget where this stuff was, you can always find it here. And that's it.
Paul, I'm assuming you're presenting for you and Spencer since Spencer is under the weather, but gonna get a quick update on some of the work that we're doing right now in Ceramic, specifically around indexing capabilities that we're adding and some other changes that are coming. So over to you, Paul.
Yeah, sure. So first, for context, currently documents in Ceramic are based on individual streams that are controlled by a DID, and there is no global discovery mechanism for streams. What we can do is identify them deterministically from their metadata. And this is how we have the IDX protocol on top of Ceramics that uses this property to associate documents to a DID. So it's pretty useful for things like a profile, and that is just having a one document attached to a DID. But it's also limited to simply these aspects. We can't have a kind of one-to-many relationship between a DID and multiple streams simply by using the IDX protocol. So over the past few months, we've been doing some research about how we could support this use case with possibly a new large list stream that would allow repeated contents to be stored without affecting performance, and also maybe having an indexing service for larger discoveries. So not only being account-based, but rather being based on schemas or other metadata that would be provided. And another aspect we have been thinking about is how to allow more discoverability and reusability of streams on Ceramic, and notably with the schema and family, so with all kind of data models tooling we provided. And so the solution we're currently working on relies on two new stream types that we call the model stream type and the model instance document, which is kind of a replacement for tile document, but with this new model concept. The model stream type can be seen kind of as what we're doing currently with providing a schema as a tile document. So giving some structure to match, to handle validation on the Ceramic network. But it also provides some additional information, notably for indexing. So that's what this new model stream type is about. And the model instance document uses these references to this model, to model created using this new stream type. And in order to have this validation functionality and also kind of opt into the indexing capabilities. And so this indexing is purely node-based. So it's not a global discovery over the entire network. Rather, it's going to be something that node explicitly have to define. So by knowing the stream ID of the models that they are interested in, they can configure their node accordingly, and the node will start indexing specifically all the documents that are using this model. And on top of this, the Ceramic node will also provide new querying APIs that will allow to access the documents that are being indexed using this new indexing service. Which leads us to kind of a new approach to the developer experience. So what we used to call data models, we are now calling composites, but it's kind of the similar concept of having a set of models and relations between them. And having the ability now also with indexing to discover models directly using the network. So not anymore having to rely on a central repository as we have been doing with a GitHub repository, but rather indexing nodes will be able to simply know what are the models that exist on the network if they want to, and provide some APIs for developers to access these. Which also affects obviously the main clients we've been building on top of Ceramic for the data models and the DID data store support, notably, because because of these new querying APIs and these new stream types, they are no longer really relevant to this new paradigm. So instead, we are working on a GraphQL client that would allow to not only access the key value records as we do with the DID data store, but the full relational graph of a given set of models. So by leveraging the new model and model instance document stream types, as well as querying APIs that will be provided by the node. And that would really, the hope is that really to allow developers to get to use maybe more familiar APIs with GraphQL and the tools there is on top as an interface to data on Ceramic that hopefully will be easier to discover in terms of what kind of models already exist, and also creating new models to promote more reusability of the data being created on the network. So this is something we are working on now, and we hope to have an MVP that will be released in Q3 2022. That will still be quite limited in terms of possibilities. So our core focus is to still have icon-based discovery. So really similar to what IDX provides. The difference is that it would be not only associating one record of a given type to a DID, but rather having more similar to one-to-many relations, and having just some query patterns being provided to access this data based on models. But considering this is really for a first delivery, and the goal from there will be to have to provide more querying patterns, such as being able to also represent relations between documents and not only from an account to documents, so that more kind of generic application use cases can be covered directly by using the APIs provided by Ceramic and the tools. Now, this new indexing service is really meant as a way to support these core use cases. So these new stream types and query APIs, it is not a complete replacement for a full, like maybe more traditional databases. It doesn't allow to do, for example, search on specific properties that wouldn't be indexed as such. Like it's not like full text search, for example, and there is also no global network indexing. It's really would be node based and based only on the models that would be explicitly indexed by the node. So the goal is really not to cover all the possible application use cases with the system, but rather what we try to identify as the most common ones, and hoping that custom solutions or ecosystem-wide solutions can still be built, maybe even on top of these indexing primitives, to cover wider use cases that might be needed by applications or the ecosystem. So I hope that provides an overview of the current state of our thinking and focus.
Yeah, thank you so much, Paul. There are some questions in the chat, and so we're not going to get to the sharing any of the spec work we've been doing around scaling the ceramic anchoring service, so we'll talk about that next month. But some of the questions that are in the chat, Andy asked, when will indexing be available? I think Paul just mentioned MVP in Q3. Is there a publicly visible GitHub branch with the feature? No, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Paul, nothing public in GitHub yet. We're kind of just finalizing the specs, but we are working on a public facing roadmap, which will be inclusive of this work and like some of the other ongoing work that we have, to be able to share a bit more with the community about what we're working on, what's coming down the pipe and when. Anything to add there, Paul?
No, that's a good summary. Thanks.
Cool. And then Christian asks, in preparation for the updates Paul is discussing now, are there schema data model formats we can work on now that we'll be able to use with this new paradigm? For example, are the schemas in this format still relevant, linking to our data models repository that's up on the GitHub repo?
Yes, so we're still going to use JSON schema for validation. So it's mostly relevant. It's more the relational aspects that will be different. But I would say how the way data models are working now is a foundation for how things will work with the new system. So it's not going to be directly compatible, but a lot of the concepts are going to translate to the new system.
And Andy asks, will apps built on the data store continue to work?
Yes, so we are introducing these new stream types that and that will be the only one that the indexing service is gonna work with and is gonna index. But the current string types, the type document and Captain Ink, will still continue to work. And so if you want to use the DID data store, it will continue to work, yes.
Last question I see here. When are the user-facing aspects of, I think this is meant to say Cacao, expected to land? I don't know, maybe that's more for...
Yes, so it's going to be part of this release as well. So part of the, I guess, the MVP and the first version of this new GraphQL APIs and related clients will use Cacao, and the permission model, so the write access will be aware of the models themselves.
Cool. I know we're 1 minute over time. So yeah, sorry we didn't get to your last part, Steph. Excited to chat about that next time. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining, both the demo speakers, all the attendees, the 3Box Labs team. We'll see you guys next month. We'll try to share out some more like announcements beforehand, so you know when it's coming. It's also on our Ceramic Community Cal. If you don't have the link to that, feel free to ping us. I'm just going to drop my Discord handle in here. Feel free to reach out if you have any feedback about this meeting or things that you want to talk about and make sure on the agenda for next time. We'd love to incorporate it. And that's it. So this is recorded. We'll put it on our blog and our YouTube channel if you need to rewatch or share with your team. And otherwise, thanks for joining and have a good day.
Thank you.